any questions, you can go to your legal. You can go to your OC on the government side and say, I'm thinking about bidding on this solicitation, but I work in this program or I work for this. Would this be a conflict? And they should, if you have any questions or concern, they should be able to answer that. And if they say no issues there, then go for it. But then at that point, I would tell you, like I told her, is whatever your niche is, whatever you're passionate about, I personally say start there till you get comfortable. So, if you're, like cooking, those catering contracts, if you like, bidding and supply, shopping on Amazon, stuff like that, then maybe looking up products versus services, because the government buys a lot of computers and hardware and stuff like that. So let me ask you, what is your, if you could just pick, what would you want to bid on and have opportunity to win at?
Ooh, child, I just don't know. It's just so.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
Yes, it's just such a broad range. I mean, they'll have things on there from, just like you guys said, lodging to catering to janitorial services. They'll have all kinds of. They'll have stuff on there for you to revamp a whole dang on building. So
they do. So out of those,
so much. It's just so much.
Out of those three examples you gave me, janitorial, lodging, and renovation to a building, if the government gave you an opportunity to pick one out of the three, and you had to deliver the best way you thought you could deliver, which one of those out of those three that you gave an example of would you want to take a crack at?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I know a lot of people who have their own businesses. Like, I know someone who has a construction company. You know what I mean? I know somebody who's a real estate broker. I know someone who's an interior designer. I kind of know different people who are, like SMEs in their functions. So I was actually even thinking about maybe kind of looking for work for experts that I know, you know what I mean? Because then I could kind of just be the plug,
Yeah, so you want to play middleman
for them. Yeah,
Yeah, so even with the middleman strategy, you would still be the prime. So you still would be held responsible for that contract. So even though having all three plugs being equal, which one that you personally would want to feel like you would want to take? Well, what I like to do, and like I say, my way is not the all end all be all way. But what I like to do, if that's the case, I would do the same concept. I would start locally. If you have everything in Sam, I would see what janitorial opportunities are local here, and in Redstone Arsenal, there's probably a ton. What opportunities are here? Then I would narrow it down to about 3 to 5. And do the same concept. Which ones I do the soonest, and then from there I would see what are they looking for. Is this going to be janitorial for a whole building, or is it going to be just a couple of office spaces? What's the need? And then from there.
All right, we got my head spinning. I monopolize the conversation,
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, let's circle back around, Chris. Let's see what we got. What else we got?
Miss Chanda or Miss Frankie, did you guys have any other questions or any other input?
Got to mute, Chris.
Okay, so I actually have a couple of questions as I'm hearing the conversation. All right, so the first thing is I was listening to a video on YouTube, and the guy was sharing that he emails, let me see, because I made a note of it. He emailed the contracting officers to ask them to be added to their interested vendors list. Have you heard of that? Or is that okay? So he was basically saying, like, to email, like, if you see a solicitation or maybe something that you're interested in, just say, for instance, I mentioned the catering one that if I see, or maybe a certain agency that you want to work with. Yeah. He said to email that contracting officer to be added to their interested vendors list. So I guess that was one question. Like, is that something that's recommended, or is that something that's normal?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can do that. you know, and you ask them, you know, because we're all human and we all got heavy workloads.
Right.
But, you know, you ask them, you know, is there any way I can send you my capability statement? And or more importantly, if there's any way I can maybe have a 2 to 3 minute phone call with you to kind of introduce myself and my company and what we may offer. And the reason why I'm coming directly to you is because, you know, I've seen several solicitations come out from your office, your office, that we would love to have the opportunity to bid on. And that's how you just get kind of on that, you know, first name basis with them. And if they so happen to put you on that vendors list, and that's pretty much how you would do it.
Okay. Now, I also, the same guy, I think it was in the same video, he mentioned that he mentioned his steps to, like, if he see a solicitation, his very first thing he do is automatically call the contracting officer, like, regardless. He said, I call them before I even consider looking for a subcontractor. First, he kind of do this little introduction or whatever, just to kind of put his name.
Does he already have a relationship with this contractor also, or just kind of blind call?
He say any solicitation he see, he automatically blind call all of them. So that's for one to what he does in his process. Because I think I was doing a lot of research because I'm like, okay, I need to kind of get down a process. Being that I'm new to this and I'm just going at first and just trying to figure out, I was trying to get some type of process, like, okay, what's step one? Even no matter what the contract is, you know, the solicitation is, I'm like, okay, I need to know what is it that I need to do. Like, do I call these people? Do I just try to break down this huge solicitation that's kind of like Elman trying to understand it all? Or like, I was just trying to get some steps. And that was one of the things he said. The very first thing he do is call all of the contracting officers regardless. He said,
can be, go ahead.
No,
you can finish
the ones, because I know sometimes it say do not call.
Right, that's what I was doing.
Whether or not, I call all of them, and I'm like, okay.
That's if they say do not call, I would say probably do not call. I mean, to put yourself in that contracting officer shoe. Let's say we all are familiar with spam calls. So, you know, if you put yourself on a do not call list from a spam caller, and they still call you, how do you feel?
Right. That's
like, okay, I told this person not to call me. They still called me. And you're going on the bad list. You know, you're going on the do not answer list. Think of it like that. So if they say do not call, respect them and do not call. Now, if they don't say, my question to that guy that gave that advice would be, what are you calling them for? So are you calling just to introduce yourself? Or are you calling to say, you know, we want the bid? What are you calling for? So have kind of a
he said that.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah, share what he do. And basically he called them, introduced himself. My name is A, B, and C from X, Y, and Z company. And I was calling the ad. I saw your solicitation and he tell them what it is. And basically he's just basically saying, how would you like your proposal?
But is that already spelled out in the solicitation?
I mean, I'm new to this, but most times it's spelled out. But that's his way of getting them familiar with his name, his company name, and then he wrapped up that call by saying it again. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to, you know, reach out to you again. My name is such and such from. So he kind of got that little spiel.
Yeah, it could go both ways. I mean, it could go both ways. I mean, it could go from a way of, you know, that shows initiative and that shows that this vendor is really interested, or it can go like the other way, where it's this person not read the instructions that says no calls. This is how you bid. We spelled it out. Like I said, I used to Thanksgiving. We said we wanted a turkey, macaroni and cheese, greens, and yams. And so when you say, you know, how do I want me to propose? It's like, we couldn't have made it no simpler than that. So it's like, all right, you know, that contractor in our office can say, was this person incompetent? Do they really understand government contract? It really can go both ways. So for you, I would say, read the solicitation first and the instructions for proposal. If it's unclear and you understand what they're asking for, then maybe call and say, you know, I'm calling to introduce myself, but also have a clarifying question. But if it's cut and dry, I personally would be hesitant to call because they're busy, they have a lot going on. And if it, like I say, and if it definitely says do not call, I still wouldn't do it. Me personally, but.
Now, another question I had, how do